Who's winning 2019 Kawhi Raptors or OKC? And who had the better run this year, OKC or last year's Jaylen Brown Celtics?
First of all, nasty calling last year's Celtics Jaylen Brown Celtics, but okay, cool.
He won the conference finals MVP and the finals MVP. So
cool. Voters are wrong all the time, just like they were wrong this year.
Just like you're wrong about Scotty Barnes not being traded for a real player. Go ahead.
Oh,
who do you think? 2019 Raptors or OKC?
With
confirmed
he
is
sources,
a known Jason Tatum hater. He
Scotty
said
ain't on the table.
That, so
not for Giannis, not for anybody. Anything.
Okay.
Well, now they are Jaylen Brown Celtics.
The two best players in Raptors history are Vince Carter and Kyle Lowry. If you combine them in their prime, that would not be enough to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm telling you that right now.
I think
between the 2019 Raptors group and the OKC Thunder 2025, which one of them would win the championship?
I think OKC is better than that Raptors team.
I think it's very close. I think it'd be a 7-game series.
But
I think the experience and that's the thing. That Kawhi is actually better than this Shai.
What wall comes crashing down?
That wall in 2019 comes crashing down.
Well, they're not gonna put a wall against Shai. I don't think.
No.
So now SGA is better than that version of Giannis?
I ain't
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I think SGA is better.
My bad. I'm thinking 2021 for some reason.
Kawhi in 2019, that playoff run might be one of the 3 greatest playoff runs by an individual ever. Shai is nowhere close to that right now. He is not on a top 25 playoff run right now.
Same person that said he's in the same conversation with Kobe.
Fact swiper. Talk.
He thinks Kawhi's better than Kobe. So I don't know.
I do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know what point you thought you was making.
So if you think Kawhi is better than Kobe,
hold on.
So if you think Brian is better than Kobe, does that mean that SGA
peak for peak? I think Kawhi is probably like a top 10 player of all time. Peak for peak.
I don't know what point you guys thought you was getting.
I don't know.
So 2019 Raptors versus the 2025 Thunder.
Best player advantage experience goes to the Raptors. Obviously, depth. I think you could argue depth goes to the Raptors. Shit, bringing Serge Ibaka off the bench, bringing Norman Powell off the bench. You know, is OG
Anunoby
is OG healthy? If OG is healthy, yeah, I give the edge to the Raptors.
With or without OG,
Chet being food at the rim, so like obviously they're gonna cook. Hello, John D. Welcome back.
You guys, give me.
I'm gonna be using this all off season. I see this.
Shit is so corny.
We're gonna have to do.
Chill. Who you got? 2019 Raptors or
first of all, what's corny?
The Raptors won the NBA championship, so Oklahoma City has not won the NBA championship yet. So
you think every team that won a championship is better than every team that didn't?
I'm going with the NBA champion right now. In this particular situation, I'm going with the NBA champion. No, I don't think that because I think that.
So if OKC wins, does your answer change?
It could, maybe.
Beating the Pacers is the difference between OKC.
I just want to remind y'all
in this particular situation. In this particular situation, I'm talking about an NBA champion in 2019 with a guy in Kawhi Leonard who had one of the best postseason runs in NBA history. They were one of the best defensive teams in NBA history, just like Oklahoma City is right now. Just like Oklahoma City is right now. They had one of the best rotations in NBA history. They had a guy who was an undrafted guy who came off the bench and was fantastic in the NBA Finals, and Fred VanVleet. I have yet to see that from this Oklahoma City team, and I don't know how the rotation is going to play in the NBA Finals. I saw that with the Toronto Raptors. So as of right now, I got to see it. I got to see how those guys perform.
There were 4 teams that year, realistically, per the math. I apologize to Ox if he's listening and crashing out right now for basketball. But there were 4 teams that year that had a chance to win an NBA championship per the math. They were the Milwaukee Bucks.
And Toronto beat them.
Milwaukee, Philly, Toronto, being the 4th team, by the way. Toronto was the 4th in the odds. Milwaukee was, I believe, 2nd. Philly was 3rd. Toronto was 4th. And obviously, a healthy Golden State was number 1.
Sure.
Toronto beat 3, 2, and 1. You can talk about health all you want.
Yeah, you didn't beat the healthy Warriors. But...
Okay, fine.
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at PrizePicks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With PrizePicks, You can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections and every single stat line imaginable to make your prize picks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download PrizePicks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with PrizePicks. So what are you waiting for? Download PrizePicks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. PrizePicks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
I don't think the Raptors had arguably their best perimeter defender in OG Anunoby.
They would have beat the healthy Warriors.
Even without OG.
Yeah, do you,
Raptors
do you think the Raptors would have won regardless? Like, do you think the Raptors?
We've already been on this.
I'm not going to disrespect KD like that and say, yeah, for sure. I would never do that. No, I think it would have been a very tough series, and I have no idea what would have happened. And honestly, as a Raptor fan, I'm very happy to not know what would have happened because, you know, that 12 minutes to KD, that was some scary shit.
Lighten y'all ass up.
I do think the 2019 Raptors get drastically underrated because the Warriors weren't healthy. So people kind of discredit the championship. I think that's
because they didn't watch.
I don't want to use the word all-time team because I feel like all-time team is reserved for like 01 Lakers, 2017 Warriors, like 86 Celtics, 87 Lakers. Like that's all time to me. But like that Raptors team is like a legitimate elite NBA champion, like an elite team that won an NBA championship. And I don't think they get that type of respect. So I'm kind of with that. I just think this OKC team is about to be another one of those type of teams, and it was a better team in the regular season too.
They're both great teams. They're both two-way. They both have an offensive superstar. They have an MVP level player who scores in isolation, is very dangerous. I just think the experience of the Raptors would overwhelm Kyle plus Serge. Like that's a lot of friggin' playoff runs, man. Marc Gasol, that's a lot of experience. Mark brings the international, the Olympics experience too. I just think that when the gap is close, as we saw with Denver, I mean, ask yourself this question: that 2019 team versus this year's Denver team, do they beat them? I think they beat them
100%. I think
they handle them.
I think this is the worst Denver team.
I mean, I would love to see Marc Gasol guard Jokic.
That's cool, but I'm saying like Marc Gasol shut down Joel Embiid. He was crying all the way back to the locker room. He didn't know what to do with him, right? Like he won him a series.
I think this would be a bad year to use for Denver, given that they had their worst personnel around the
team.
No,
I understand that, but this Denver team.
Can we talk about the matchup at hand?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
We wanted to honor the $100 super chat, Ron.
Yeah, and the $100 super chat is talking about the 2019 Raptors versus the current OKC, not Denver.
No, I understand what you're doing, but what I was saying was Denver was the team that was experienced. They were the championship team. They were the team with the championship DNA and the reps, and you could see how much that experience overwhelmed the younger team in OKC. I believe if you're just looking at the roster before the series, you're assuming probably OKC in 5 or 6, but because then I did, and I think a lot of people did. You intelligently, prophetically picked Denver to win the series in 7. Amazing. And you've been victory lapping ever since, even though you're wrong both rounds. But my point is that experience mattered, right? It mattered a lot. And I think that Raptors team had a lot of the same experience that this Denver team has.
Yep. Swiper, you had a question.
Oh, well, you don't always think that the teams that have won championships are the best teams, but like I was thinking about that 69 year when the Lakers had Elgin, Wilt, and they had Jerry West. And
I think the Lakers were better than them. I do.
You just thought, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Y'all, Arch asked a follow-up question. He said this year's OKC team versus last year's Celtics team, Jaylen Brown's Celtics team to be specific.
I think OKC. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would have loved to see a Boston versus OKC series. Still think OKC would have won, but last year I think OKC wins that series because, to be completely honest, I think Boston was probably a better team this year than they were last year. It's just last year it's like you had that amount of shooting. Everybody was shooting pretty well throughout the regular season. This year you just get a down shooting year from Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown, but this year Sam Hauser was better, Peyton Pritchard was better. But I do think OKC probably would have won that series in about 6 games.
Yeah, I think no discredit for the Celtics. I think they just played a much more they had an advantage in every series they played in, every single one. Like there's just no one that could have beat them that they played last year. And I think OKC would be a perfect matchup for them.
And then outside of Jason Tatum, and even then, like I don't know how many ball handlers I trust in that series to consistently.
I trust Derek White.
As a ball handler against Jason Wallace and Dort.
As much as y'all talk shit about Jaylen Brown, I still trust Jaylen Brown.
They did
well. Ball handler?
They did well in the second game in Boston this year, but they just kind of ran out of shot making down the stretch of the game. And then Drew missed. I think he airballed a corner three and then like cost the game as well. So I mean, it would have been a fun series if everybody was healthy. But Tatum, once he tore his Achilles, didn't matter anyway because they were going to lose anyway. But no Tatum, I don't want to watch that.
Chill. Who you got?
The Celtics.
And
they
why?
won the championship. So
that has a lot to do with it. I mean, I think that as a collection, I think that the way that they played defense, as good as Oklahoma City played defense, but the way that Boston played defense last year, Jaylen Brown in particular, I think that they were really connected. I think the shooting would be a problem, but I do think that they could attack some more mismatches than they did against Dallas, and I think that they could turn more of their defense into offense. I think they could turn some more of their defense into offense. I think Jaylen Brown would be more of a defender in this series, like he was last year against Dallas, than he would be a bucket getter. I think that his job of chasing around SGA would be substantial. I think Jason Tatum will be put in way different spaces. I don't think that they will just be a primary long ball shooting team. I think he would be in the mid-range more. I think he would be on the block more. And I think that KP, for the time that they had him, I think he could counter what Chet was doing. I think they beat Oklahoma City in 6 games.
But Tatum was struggling a lot last year too.
He was struggling a lot. And so was SGA. SGA struggled in these playoffs too. So
he did struggle for
but Tatum wasn't making jumpers all last playoff. So I think that's why, if using the context of last year, I don't know, like that would have suddenly had to got different. But Tatum in different iterations has made his jumpers. Just last year he wasn't making his jumpers. So I don't know if that would have, put them over the top in that situation. But Mars, what I would have loved to see if Nico Harrison didn't absolutely kamikaze his own team. If this Mavericks team with Luka and Najee Marshall, like the new iteration of the Magic, this Mavericks team versus this OKC team, now that would have been a really fun series to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would have loved to see that.
Great 6-game series.
Yeah, Mavs got them out of there in 6.
Series, but that's still a really good series.
It's incredible what a year does. Like this Oklahoma City team this year and last year are completely different.
Yeah, 2 big signings in Ihart and Caruso.
Caruso was a huge addition. Isaiah
Hart was a huge addition.
Mm-hmm.
And they were also they were probably still the best team in the West last year. They just lost.
Well, I mean, they got the number 1 seed in the regular season.
Yeah, they shouldn't have lost. Like they didn't do enough to win, and Dallas ultimately deserved to win.
Yeah.
But OKC shouldn't have lost.
We're in a different timeline, y'all. John D, stay with me.
I'm here.
That Devontae Graham doesn't make the game winner versus the Nuggets, and the Nuggets have title 2. Just think about that.
If they just stay on the other side of the
they could have just beat the Spurs and then did their job.
That was Devontae Graham.
That was the game that changed the NBA playoffs, y'all. That one damn game. And Victor Wembanyama that quarter 16 points in the third quarter, by the way. So
shout out to Vic and Devontae Graham.
I think the Spurs did that again against the Warriors. Harrison Barnes hit a 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Are in the play-in. Yeah. Back to back years, man.
Mars. Last but not least, well, Penn, you didn't give your answer on it too. Celtics last year versus Thunder this year.
I picked Thunder.
Yeah. Is KP playing?
It's not like it's not a blowout. I'm not picking them in 5 or 6. Like, I mean, it'd be 6 or 7. It'd be close.
I'll pick OKC.